feel like you're stuck.
Yeah.
Like that hamster, on the wheel in your head.
Yeah.
It's going round and round. Well, today's deep dive is all about a tool for change. It's surprisingly simple.
Okay.
It's the I am statement.
It really is interesting how the way we talk to ourselves, our self-talk, it can really have an impact. It can make or break our mindset.
Yeah.
And these I am statements, they're kind of like, think of those little sticky notes.
Okay.
The ones you put on your fridge. They're like that, except, well, they stick to your subconscious.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. I mean, we're not talking about just saying, I am awesome, and then everything magically works out. Right?
No, not quite. Not quite. It's
Yeah.
a little more, imagine your brain is like a detective.
Okay.
But here's the thing. He's got this confirmation bias. He's always looking for clues to support what he already believes.
Okay.
So say you're always telling yourself, I am no good at, let's say, public speaking. Your brain's going to get right on that. It'll be like, okay, boss, you got it. And it'll start collecting all this evidence to prove you right.
Wow.
Even if it has to, get a little creative with the facts.
So it can almost make stuff up.
Yeah, in a way.
Wow, I never thought of it like that. That's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
So then how do we change that? How do we flip the script?
Well, that's where this whole I am thing gets really powerful. When you make a conscious choice, to say these positive I am statements,
Yeah.
you keep repeating them.
Right.
You're basically, it's like you're giving your brain a whole new diet,
Okay.
a new kind of information to work with.
So if I'm constantly saying, like, I am confident, even if in the moment I don't feel that way at all,
Right.
my brain will actually start looking for reasons to back that up.
Exactly. It's like, think of it like training for a marathon.
Okay, yeah.
You don't just suddenly, boom, wake up one day and run 26 miles, right?
No, that's a recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd be in trouble. It's like same thing here. You got to start small, consistent steps, and over time, you build up to something amazing.
And that's what we were talking about with this deep dive today, right? I mean, the source material we were looking at, it actually compares it to working out,
Yes.
like going to the gym. And they say that being consistent is key. But what does that actually look like? Can you give us an example?
Well, it's about, really paying attention to your self-talk, all day long.
Yeah.
Catch yourself when those sneaky little negative I am statements try to creep in.
Yeah.
And then you consciously choose something else, something more empowering. So instead of I am so awkward, especially in social situations,
Okay.
you try, I am open to connecting with new people,
Okay.
even if it feels a little weird at first,
Yeah.
a little uncomfortable.
So it's not about pretending that the negative self-talk isn't there.
Right.
It's more about choosing a different response,
Yeah.
one that's more, powerful.
Exactly.
I like that. That makes sense to me. But what about when things go wrong?
Yeah.
Because they always do, right?
Yeah.
How do we use I am statements when we experience, setbacks?
Yeah.
That's what I'm really curious about, because that feels important.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's where it gets real.
That's the real question, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
easy to, to say those positive things. I am strong. I am resilient when everything's going great.
Right. Like, look at me, I'm amazing.
Right. But what about when you're hit with a setback?
Yeah.
Something doesn't go your way. Maybe you even, you fail. That's the hard part.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's easy to be the cheerleader when you're winning. But what about when you're down by, 100 points?
Exactly.
What do you do then?
That's where the rubber meets the road with this whole I am approach.
So how do you navigate that when you're in it, when you're feeling that way?
Let me ask you this. Imagine you're working on something, a passion project. You're pouring everything you have into it, your heart, your soul. Mm-hmm.
And then it falls apart. Mm-hmm. It crashes and burns.
Mm. Yeah.
What's your gut reaction?
I'm a failure. Right.
Exactly. It's so easy to go there.
It's almost automatic.
Right.
Yeah.
But what if, instead of, labeling yourself like that, what if you shifted the script?
Okay.
What if instead of I am a failure, you said, I am learning from this?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Or this didn't work out, but it's just, a plot twist. It's not the end.
I like that. It's like instead of a full stop, it's a comma.
Exactly.
It's more like, okay, this is just part of the story. It's not the whole story.
Yes. You're changing the narrative.
Oh, I like that. Instead of it being this definition of you, it's just feedback.
Yes. The podcast we were listening to, they gave a really good example.
Okay.
They talked about learning a new language.
Okay. Yeah.
And you mess up a phrase, you stumble over the words, it happens to everyone. But instead of thinking, I'm terrible at this, You could say.
I am in the process of learning.
Exactly.
I am, I'm figuring this out. Yes, it's about focusing on the progress, not on being perfect.
Oh, that is so important.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to get caught up in like other people's highlight reels.
Yeah.
You see everyone on social media and it's like they've got it all figured out.
Right.
But that's not real life.
No, it's not. And it's so easy to start comparing, to feel like you're not good enough.
Exactly. The podcast actually mentioned this other thing that I thought was really interesting. It's about the importance of our environment, like the people we surround ourselves with. What's your take on that?
Oh, that's huge. Think of it like this. Imagine you're planting a garden. You put in these beautiful flowers, right?
Yeah, I like where this is going.
But what if the soil is toxic? What if it's full of, junk that's just going to poison them?
Yeah, they're not going to thrive.
Exactly. And it's the same with our self-belief. If you're constantly around negativity
Right.
or, people who doubt you, it's going to be really hard for those positive I am statements to take root.
It's like trying to, I don't know, grow a rose in a desert or something. It needs the right conditions to flourish.
Exactly. It's not just about silencing that inner critic, It's also about making sure you have a supportive crew in your corner.
So it's not enough to just, like, work on ourselves. We've also got to pay attention to the company we keep.
Absolutely.
It makes me think about, like, all the different voices in our lives. Who are we listening to?
That's such a good point. It's not just about the people we're physically around, though, is it?
That's so true. I mean, sometimes the loudest voices are the ones in our own heads, right?
Exactly. Like, are we scrolling through social media, comparing ourselves to everyone's highlight reels?
Right. Or listening to that inner critic who always seems to have something negative to say.
Right. Are we giving those voices more weight than our own inner cheerleading squad?
It's like, who are we giving the microphone to? Who are we letting steal our focus?
Exactly. And that's where it all circles back to these I am statements,
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
If we truly believe deep down, I am worthy, I am capable, I am deserving of love and support,
Yeah.
we're going to attract those kinds of people into our lives. We create that positive ecosystem.
It's like our beliefs are little magnets.
Yeah.
Attracting people and experiences that match what we're putting out there.
Precisely. Our beliefs shape our reality.
Yeah.
And the more we water those seeds of self-belief, the more we're going to see them reflected in our world, our relationships, our successes. It's powerful stuff.
It really is. This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. I love how it's not just about thinking positive, but about consciously choosing those empowering I am statements and living them out.
That's the key, isn't it? Action.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not enough to just think it. We have to back it up. We have to embody it.
What I find so fascinating is that we all have these little conversations going on in our heads all the time.
Yeah.
But most of the time, we're not even aware of them.
It's true. We're on autopilot.
Right. But when we tune in, when we become aware of those I am statements, and we consciously choose ones that lift us up, that empower us, well, we can literally rewire our brains.
It's so cool. It's like we have this power to create our own self-fulfilling prophecies.
We do.
I love that. So to our listener out there, what's your I am statement today? What's that one powerful belief you're choosing to embrace?
Write it down. Say it out loud. And most importantly, start living it. See what happens. You might be amazed.
That's such a great point to end on. It's about taking that action. Thank you so much for diving into this with me today. This has been amazing.
My pleasure. It was great being here.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for another deep dive. Until next time, take care.